Hello, friends. Hello, Marina Shepelsky here, American immigration lawyer. I'm here to talk about immigration news today and, other things that concern U.S. immigration. A lot is happening, a lot is going on, and I'm here to say good morning. Oh my God, I forgot my microphone. God, thank you. Thank you for telling me that there's no sound. I appreciate it. Hi. Can you hear me now? Please write in the comments a little plus if you could hear me. Uh, if you could hear me, say hello and write a little plus. Oh, thank you, Manish Z Fashion. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Let's start this conversation. We are doing the news today. What's going on? In the beginning, I always start out for new subscribers and new followers talking about myself and what brought me here. Why am I doing the show? Who am I to talk about U.S. immigration to you guys? I'm an immigrant too. I came here in 1989, a long time ago. And honestly, I love this stuff. Hi to Jason Garcia. Thank you for watching. I love doing this work. I'm a lawyer since 2002, and I've been doing this work almost from day one. So this is really fun for me, interesting, cool, and it's my life work. But before that, I went to college for my bachelor's at NYU in New York. I went to Fordham Law School to get my law degree. I have two licenses in New York and New Jersey. And I'm also admitted to practice immigration law in all the 50 states, and we do. But currently, we're not taking any detained cases. So if I detain you, I'm going to send you to a colleague of ours right there locally where detention is, because actually you have to be local. You have to be able to go see your client, and you have to be able to help them on the spot, which we don't have the ability to do. But we do handle everything from asylum and VAWA and family petition and waivers and anything that has to do with immigration when you're not detained, we handle in all the 50 states. All right. So I came here because of my own background in as an immigrant, and I think it's important for me to help people who are starting out in this process and not understanding it. And I think that the reason that I love this is that I have this talent. I can break things down in a very simple way that are pretty complicated. So Sahil is asking if we have any sales positions. We do not right now. And honestly, what's happening with immigration, we're seeing a lot of people kind of afraid to file. So they're scared to start a case right now, and this is not a great time to add people to my team. But thank you for asking. So let's get into the news. So the biggest news this week is that USCIS will now no longer accept paper checks for whatever fees you're planning to send. So they will take forms where you fill in your credit card or your bank account information. If you're watching this and you like it and you can hear the sound, let me know if you could hear me and give me like a thumbs up or a plus. And please, as a separate comment, I would love to know where you guys are watching me from, and I will give you a shout out. Let me open my comments on Instagram on my screen. All right. I see a question from Timur Mikhailov, 10. How long does it take for the F1 student from Belarus to apply for asylum and get approved? It could be a few months or it could be 10 years. It's hard to say. Manish Dashan is watching from India. Hello. I will get to your questions if you have any at the end of the show. And I'm going to say that I'm not here in a capacity of a lawyer per se. I am a lawyer, I can't help it. But this is an educational show, entertainment show. I'm not here to give legal advice. No legal advice will be given. No attorney-client relationship will be created. We're just discussing things. If you want more information, specifically, individually for your situation, I urge you to make an appointment with us. If you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook, it's on the bottom of the screen. You can check out our website, shepelskylaw.com, or if you're on Instagram, my profile, Marina Shepelsky, or Shepelsky Attorney, it has all of my contact. So welcome. All right, let's get into the news here. We talked about the fact that they will now only accept credit cards or bank number and routing number for payment, which is a problem if you're an immigrant. Many immigrants do not have a green card and do not have a bank account or don't have either or have only one. So it's going to be tough to pay to file for a green card or if you don't have a credit card or bank account. I guess you have to, make an arrangement with a friend or a loved one or family member and so on. Um, More news is that there's been a case that came out from the Board of Appeals. And, we are all interested, but they decided that anybody that came with no visa, you crossed the border, you entered without inspection. No inspection, that means you crossed the border, or perhaps you used some transit, uh, like visa type to come in. Um, if you came in without inspection, an ICE arrest is you. You will no longer be eligible to ask for a bond from a judge. And a lot of times, if you only asking with ICE, they're going to say no. So realistically, um, that means many people are not going to get bond. Um, oh, I'm sorry. This wasn't BIA. This was from Justice Department. Uh, So it's even above them. So Justice Department has declared and said that detention is mandatory. You're not available for bond if you cross the U.S. with no inspection. In other words, they're afraid that you'll run away. They'll move, they won't find you after that. They catch you and you came with no inspection, you're gonna stay there until they make a decision what to do with you, and most of the time they're just gonna deport you. That means anytime you're gonna be asking for a bond hearing, they will be denying you. And this literally happened 5 days ago. So this is very fresh news. We're still kind of like reeling from that, but it's happening. Another piece of news is that when you're filing for U.S. citizenship, they will now have to check your moral character, make sure that you have good moral character, and that means you have to prove it. So not only you have to submit your tax returns, and they're going to have proof that you've never been arrested or something minor, but they might want to see like reference letters from friends and family that you help at home, that you're a volunteer in the community, that you go to church or mosque or synagogue or whatever it is, some religious involvement, that you're taking care of an elderly or a child. In other words, they want to see beyond you paying taxes and no arrest. That's important. Beyond that, you're like actively involved and a good person. They might even visit your neighbor. They might even visit your job. That's how effective it is. So that's that. Um, the other piece of news is there's quite a lot actually. It is what I want to bring up. I just recorded so many videos yet. I talk about the bond thing. Oh, there was a case that did come down from not BIA, but from the U.S. Attorney General Bondi. And she said that they're going back to using a very strict definition of what is a social group for asylum. So before it was much wider, and this only really connects with women and like families, anybody who's a victim of domestic violence in their own country. So for a long time, you could file for asylum if your husband in your country abused you, if your parents or your husband's parents abused you, if you had family that abused you. That was a reason for asylum. Like you experienced domestic violence, and it's obvious that the government of your native country is doing nothing about it. Now, she said that the definition is going to be much harder, and that the fact that the government is doing nothing about it is not enough to prove that you were abused. It has to be some sort of direct abuse from the government, or I don't know, the government abused you. Anyway, they're going back to the first administration's definition of what a social group is when it relates to women and families, victims of domestic violence. Um, uh, and I just want to give you the case name. It's called Matter of SSM. And in this case, the Attorney General Bondi brought back the General Sessions during the first administration of Trump definition in the case called Matter of AB that declared that women running away from domestic violence should generally be denied asylum. So that's not going to be good enough anymore. That's just sad. And that's now. And I guess let me see what else is out here that I want to talk about. It's so announced that student visas are going to have 4 years cap. So they're going to issue them for no more than 4 years. And there's going to be a $200 fee in addition to all the usual filing fees for people to get a non-immigrant visa per big beautiful bill. So I actually filed this weekend on the show there Fox Live Now, and I thinking about this, and I said, look, there's so much bad things happening in immigration right now that this extra $250 fee to file a visa to come to US probably is not going to make a big difference, especially there's so much other bad stuff happening, you know. Also, in the news is apparently the state of Arkansas has a lot of farmers ready to file for bankruptcy, asking for a federal bailout. Why am I telling you this? More than 70% of their employees were undocumented immigrants, and they all stopped coming forward. And they're afraid, and they're not showing up. So they don't have anybody to take care of the farms, and it's affecting almost every farm in the state of Arkansas. They're asking for the federal government to give them money so they can survive this period. And Arkansas voted for Trump 67%. So most of the people who voted for Trump got this happening to them. So, that's really sad. In other news, and I guess this is going to be like when I am in the news, I guess I haven't seen you guys in 2 weeks. So much has happened. Is that there was a huge raid in the state of Georgia of the Hyundai battery plant. Like it's a place where the Korean company Hyundai was making, I guess, batteries power sources in the US, and they arrested around 480, almost 500, 480, mostly Korean immigrants who were here with either overstaying visas, so they had a visa expired, working without permission, and a visa that didn't allow them to work. There was other visas that didn't allow them to be working over there. If you have a work visa and you go work for Monday, you're supposed to change the employer for Monday, and that's not happened. There was a lot of hope when this opened in Florida. They were promised 8,500 jobs to the locals, to people who live in that area. But apparently, it was mostly people who were Korean that were working in there. And they did this whole big investigation for like a long time, checking out Hyundai. It turns out that Hyundai was allowing people to work there who were illegal immigrants in the U.S. South Korean's foreign minister Cho Yoon said over the weekend that he was very worried by the detention because I arrested and detained, put in jail of Korean nationals, and he's going to come to U.S. this week uh, to deal with the situation. Um, most of the people arrested, most of these Korean nationals, being held at the Immigration Detention Center in Folkston, Georgia, and none of them were charged with crimes, but they were all charged with overstaying or being illegal in U.S. as immigrants. Not a crime; it's just an immigration uh, violation. And Trump now warns foreign companies that they have to do things right if they want to invest in the US, if they want to run a business in the US. You have to follow the rules, and the laws are very difficult to bring in a worker overseas to work here. To hire local people, Americans, is much easier, but there's no cutting corners. That's what's going on. Can you hear me on YouTube and Facebook? Please let me know. They're saying the audio is off. I'm trying my best to put it on. Jason has a question on YouTube. He says, I have a prima facie. That means Jason can file for the VAWA I-360 petition. That's an abuse petition that people file when they're married to a U.S. citizen and being abused, mistreated, put down, very badly treated by a U.S. Spouse. So he says he's got like the prima facie approval, which is like a preliminary letter of approval, but he missed his asylum court and he basically was deported by the judge, and now he filed an appeal. Can he travel state to state? Uh, so I hear that when people who have a deportation order are booking a domestic flight, something I guess somebody cross-checked their information with immigration, and if you have a deportation order, as you do, you could get detained by ICE in the airport. So I do not recommend right now, if you have a deportation on your record, to travel from state to state. They might not care that you have an appeal. Uh, so you are in great danger. Do not travel between states. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Hello from Simone. Uh, Good morning from Shiv. Rakesh says good hello, man. Rakesh is an Indian curry. Chef wants to apply for a job. We only do the paperwork if you have an employer. Somebody else had an electric company, electrician. Uh, all right. This is all that I wanted to say so far. Okay. If you have any immigration questions, if you are already in US, now is your time. I'm going to be here for another few minutes and I'll be happy to answer any questions. We can talk a little bit about VAWA because thank you for Jason asking about it. Thank you, Jason Garcia. VAWA is a process that you can file whether you're a man or a woman, and It doesn't matter if you have no visa. You can get a green card, but you have to stay put and wait for a good 4 years sometimes. If you guys are interested, married to a U.S. citizen, just being happily getting a green card, getting a work permit, getting deferred action when the case is approved, if you're interested in getting that status, call us and we do a lot of these cases. Um, Also, if you feel unsafe to return to your home country, we can help you file for asylum. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna wrap it up today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Please prepare your questions having to do with immigration. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's a question. Interpol policy before I go. How long a VAWA receipt taking to issue? VAWA receipts would take 3 4 weeks or 4 months. Anywhere between 3 4 weeks and 4 months right now is normal for VAWA receipts. Thank you so much for watching. See you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Prepare your questions. God bless.